Okay, we figured out the technicalities. Now we gotta start, because otherwise we're not finishing. The set is big. The set is large. Anafenza. Unyielding lineage. Okay, pronunciation problems already. 2 colorless white, 2/2 flash first strike. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, Anafenza endures 2. Endure would be a Abzan mechanic. Put 2/1/1 counters on it or create a 2/2 white spirit creature. Okay. I mean, pretty cracked, right? Funny is, this is often gonna be a removal for an X2, for a 2-drop, because people won't play around it. You play it, you block, you kill a creature, and then you reap the reward for having a rare in your deck. Or you block with the other creature and then get the token. So it's insane late game. It's pretty insane early game, actually. Yeah, but you're not gonna refuse to eat a creature. Like, you're gonna eat a creature, right? If you have nothing else to do on 3. You're gonna play it when they attack and eat a creature. So I think it's important to talk a floor of a card. And this has a floor. And the floor would be no other creatures, somewhat mid-game even or late game. So it's not a bomb that would get you from like any scenario, which some bombs do. It's really good at just generating value overall. Like, just for its mana cost, it does too much. So an insane card, I would say. I would give it an A. Imagine if this counted tokens with mobilize. One thing you can do is, like, first plus counters on it are pretty good, right? Because then it's a 4/4 first striker. Okay, and then from the big jump or big leap here, we're going from a rare into a common. 3 colorless white, 3/4. When this creature enters, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. 1 white tap target creature. Okay, so it does a lot of things for this set. Well, a lot of things. It just hoses a little bit the harmonize and the Sultai mechanic renew, right? So this ability is not irrelevant at all. It hoses kinda 2 archetypes in a sense. Not hose, but it does some. I don't know. I mean, 4-drop needs a lot. This one is fine. It's probably not something you would want other ones. Like, you would want the uncommons ones, and maybe there's something better at 4. Like, it's easy to underrate it. That's what I want to say. I wouldn't rate it high because, again, it's a 4-drop. 4-drop slot is extremely contested. C-. I would even go D+ because realistically, you're not gonna take this early, right? But I would say it's playable. But I wouldn't go higher than D+ for this. We haven't talked about maybe the gradings, like how we actually do it or what the actual gradings mean. For me, everything from D- and A+ is playable. The only unplayable cards are F. So if you ever want to put a card in a deck, D- is like, those cards should have like D-, right? So basically, cards you don't want but will be really fillers or really niche cards are D or D-. And D+ is already a card you will consider and will be happy playing it if there's nothing else. But D+ usually have better replacement. So I think this is then like fits into this category of D+. While C and C- are already cards that fit the curve and are decent, good commons. Then C+ is the best commons, right? Maybe, or C+, B-. And once we're talking B, usually the best removal in the set, or the most efficient removal, and B+, we're already bomb territory. So either like quote-unquote mythic uncommons, rares, efficient, even value cards are here, right? Like good stats that generate value on creatures. And then A-, A+ is really bomb territory. A- would be bomby, but it's not maybe like all scenario. It doesn't get you from all scenarios, or all, I mean like most scenarios in the game, right? While A and A+ are bombs that you cast, they get you from behind, they win the game when you're ahead, etc. Does that make sense? From what I've seen, or what I've even done in the past, and I really want to avoid that, I want to use all the grades. Like, I see people constantly do that. People think that whatever is a C- is unplayable. why do we have those grades then? Why do we have grades from D- to C-, right? Then your tier list should be just 3 grades. So I think we want to use all the grades. Okay, move on. I wanted to clarify that. Now we're gonna go faster, I swear, even though I talk a lot. Bearer of Glory. 1 colorless white 2/1. During your turn, this creature has first strike for 5 mana, so 1 white for colorless creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Pretty easy to compare this to the rabbit from Bloomborrow, right? The 2 mana 2/2 that pump your board. One thing which is huge is 5 mana versus 4 mana. Is insanely big deal on an effect like that, because this gets insane once you have double activation, right? But that rabbit was really, really good. And then even if we go few sets back, there's the unicorn, which was in Baldur's Gate set, was the best, one of the best cards and the best common in that set. Had also activation for 4 mana, so obviously gets worse on 5. But this actually has a better stat, like has the better ability, like first strike on attacks will let you push damage through, because the rabbit you really didn't want to trade on 2. You would not attack into their 2-drop. This you can attack. I think this card is really good. Not as busted, I think, as the rabbit and the unicorn, because the 5 versus 4 is a big deal, although this set is about the tokens, right? So we know we're gonna have a huge team that will benefit from this. I do like the card. I don't think I would go above C, because again, like a rabbit would at 4 mana, this activation would be a C+, I think, or even a B-. But at 5, it's not that easy. And okay, we can go the other way around. We can also compare this card to the Surveyor from Either Drift, which is an example of this. During your turn, this creature has first strike of this ability being actually bad. But I think that ability alone was historically never that like on a 2-drop was never that bad. It was just that like Either Drift was a set specific where there was no way to pump the creature, or almost no way to pump the creature. In this format, you can give counters to creatures. You have the pumps, right? And this pumps itself is also like then another thing. They should keyword the ability. I don't know. I mean, it's like, how would you keyword it? Because the first strike is already a keyword. So then it gets complicated. Then it needs 2 keywords. Okay, we got a rare. Clarion Conqueror. 2 colorless white for a 3/3 flyer. Activated abilities of artifact creatures and planeswalker can be activated. It has it's a dragon. It's a cheap dragon, which is actually probably not gonna be that common. I think those are only rares, but we'll see that. You're never unhappy playing a 3 mana 3/3 in limited flying. This is the cheaper, I believe. I know there's like a blue one that's 2 mana, but it's double blue and more of a late game card, but that's a rare. This is a rare as well. Activated abilities of artifact creatures, planeswalker can be activated. Not that relevant in limited. So you're basically playing this as a 3 mana 3/3 flyer. This is more of a constructed ability. Okay, you cannot activate your... Like, you cannot activate this. There are some abilities. You cannot activate the tap ability. It's gonna hurt you as well if you have those. Yeah. But, I mean, you're playing this. I think you're playing this card. It's just... Like, I would play a 3 mana 3/3 flyer in any deck. Especially in any white deck, because you're about attacking. I would say... Is this even a B- territory? Because back in the days, you would say this is just a B card. I think this is like a C+ card for current standard. Yeah. I don't think we want to rate it too high. Marvin, you got a good point there. I know you just asked a question, but you made a really good point. White is not gonna care about graveyard because Jeskai Abzan, right? Jeskai Abzan, Mardu. Those are not the graveyard colors. So basically, just because it's in a color that doesn't harmonize or renew, obviously you can have some renew cards in Abzan, but on average, you're not going to have that many Graveyard Matter cards. And all the Graveyard Matter stuff is ability related. This actually hoses the colors that you're fighting against, or it's not going to hose you. So I think it goes higher because of that. So I like B minus. I like that point. This is actually like surprisingly relevant. Colorless white for an instant, choose one. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker or destroy target enchantment. We've seen that. It's a little bit better because you're making tokens, you're mobilizing, so you can attack, make tokens, before they die, you use this at any point. Like you can attack, kill a creature, kill a blocker. So I think this is better than in other sets. We've seen this one at sorcery speed in either drift, which wasn't a go white set at all. Yeah, there's a huge downside to this card for sure, but I think this is gonna perform better than in other sets. And you're gonna be probably happy to playing few, but not too many. Maybe one or two. I wouldn't want to play the third one probably, unless you really need removal. Yeah, and the one in either drift was like a below average card. I think this one I would rate a C. I'm happy playing that. Okay, we have a Dalkovan packbeasts. Dalkovan. I don't know how you pronounce that. These names are hard. 2 colorless white, 0/4 Vigi, mobilize 3 simple. I like simple designs. Yeah, but I mean, a 3 mana 0/3 is not a completely blank card. 3 mana 0/3/04. It's capable of matching a creature. Matches a 2 or a 3 drop, right? So it already, unless a 2 or a 3 drop is a flyer. So it already fulfilled like some sort of a role in game. And then mobilize 3 is gonna be huge. Whenever they cannot block it, you just do it like this. Puff. I'm attacking for free. Now you make a decision. Do you want to block the tokens or do you take 3? But I think it's about synergy on this card. You wouldn't play a 3 mana 0/4. You wouldn't be happy about playing 3 mana 0/4, but it's not completely blank card. That's what I'm saying. Like a 3 mana 0/4 is capable of matching with something opponent plays. I mean, you guys were the one hyping Mobilize yesterday when we talked about it. How powerful Mardu would be. I was the one saying that Mobilize is overrated as a mechanic. Obviously, it depends like what kind of creatures there are. But this has one of the highest mobilized number on it. So then it has to be good. If Mobilize is gonna be good, it has to be then one of the better synergy cards. I, however, am not that sold on Mobilize, honestly. Talking about Mobilize and Go White strategy, where Go White strategy shines is that it completely hoses 1/1 removal, while Mobilize doesn't do that. Because you just kill a creature, the Mobilize doesn't happen. It's different than, like this is a different type of Go White strategy, where you need synergy to work, I think. Does that make sense? Rabbits, for instance, were so good because all of your murders didn't really do much versus make 3 rabbits. Or, I don't know, there was a 5-drop that made a 3/2 make 2 1/1s, but if they killed the 3/2, the 2 1/1 still stayed. While Mobilize doesn't work like that. Mobilize is still weak to 1/1 removal. And then there are boards where you're gonna have like 2 attackers, they'll still block all of your mobilized creatures. The damage doesn't go through. So you need then synergy for creatures dying, or either sacrifice synergy or stuff like that. Otherwise, the tokens just don't produce any value. They do, however, make it so the opponent probably has to leave more blockers behind, so they cannot raise that efficiently. So in that sense, it's interesting. There is some upside, obviously. I'm going C on that. C for now. Could see higher. Mobilize 3 if there's enough support. If we figure out that mechanic is strong. Mobilize 3 is one of the highest number for that. Descendant of Storms. 1 white for a 2/1 human soldier. When this creature attacks, you may pay 1 colorless and a white. If you do, it endures 1. Pretty good for a 1-drop. Where this shines is you're on the play this pump, and then it has the potential to become a 4/3. Or you trade and get a 1/1. I don't think it's completely insane or anything like that. It reminds me of Kaldheim. What was the Kaldheim card that had forgot what the mechanic was, but it made a 1/1 whenever it attacked. I guess like you're gonna be aggro anyhow in those colors. It gets a little bit awkward because tap lands. So if you're gonna have to, if you want to play 3 colors, you're gonna have to have tap lands, and then the tap lands get in a way of a 1-drop because you want to play a tap land on 1 over this, and then this loses relevance. So I don't know. I don't think I would go over a C for that, considering all these things. So I'll say it's a C, and some decks will maybe really want it. Dragonback Lancer, 3 colorless white, 3/3 flying, mobilize 1, human soldier. Hill Giant Flyer? How good is a Hill Giant Flyer in current day and age? Like, what would you give to a 4-mana 3/3 flying creature in vacuum? Let's say last 5 sets. I would say that's a D+, C- card. Well, D+, I guess we had an example, a Silent. I would say this is similar to a Silent from either draft. Has some sort of a weak upside token set. Yeah, but the token isn't staying permanently, right? You still, first of all, you want synergy, and this is one of the smallest number on mobilize. I would say it's pretty, I would rate it similar, as I would just compare it to a Silent in either drift. So like D+ card. Foundations. Which one was in Foundations? Oh, okay, that one was really bad. Okay, that's a good example of a. Okay, obviously depends how the stat matches versus the set is another thing, right? But I think the one from in Foundations, the 3/3 flyer for 4 was like a D or D-. Actually, you were never happy playing that card. Okay, Duty Beyond that, colorless white. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Creatures you control gain indestructible. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Mobilize really bugs me. It really bugs me. First of all, you sack a creature. That's cool. The token you would lose anyhow. But then a go white pump on tokens that you have to sack. A go white counter pump. So basically, you need other creatures, which are not going to be tokens, probably. Okay, spirit tokens. This is a way better Abzan card than it is a Mardu card. Is this supposed to be an Abzan card? I think this is supposed to be a Mardu card, but it's really an Abzan card. Because you want the spirits. You want the endure thingies. And then maybe have one mobilize, you attack, sack the token that you would sack either way, and then you pump your spirits. In that sense, I like it. I think it's pretty good in that sense. Plus, you're gonna save something and yada yada with indestructible. I would say C+ for this. Maybe I'm high on it. And if obviously there was like a go white strategy, like a real go white strategy, like rabbits and stuff, which maybe Abzan is actually, then this gets higher even. A wall of text means it's a planeswalker. Okay, 3 colorless white 5 loyalty, legendary planeswalker Elspeth. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created. +1, create a 1/1. 0, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. They gain flying until end of turn. -3, destroy target creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. That's an insane rate. So for 5 mana, it goes to 6. Make 2 1/1s. Then the only way I can see it, okay, is there planeswalker removal, because they're not printing that anymore. Or the black cards don't have kill a planeswalker. Until your next turn. Okay, so you can, okay, that's actually sick. The second ability is so freaking good. Because usually planeswalkers have this weakness of randomly dying to either big boards or flyers. But if they have a big board, you +2, you +1, make more creatures. If they have flyers, you put counters and block. What? So this actually bypasses a lot of weaknesses of planeswalkers, or it defends itself really well versus the weaknesses. And then obviously -3, destroy target creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. It's also a removal. Dude, this card is sick. Like every aspect of this card, like every freaking aspect. I think it did need to have the flying. Like it did need to give flying for their turn, so it can at least die to flyers. I could see. I mean, I'm going at least A, but I can see A+. I usually don't like rating planeswalkers A+ because all the planeswalkers are just weak to big boards or flyers. But this one really does an insane job of of protecting itself. So it might be an A+. First ever Planeswalker that the 4 rated A+, huh? How about that? Historic moment. Fortress Kingart. Colorless white for a 1/2. When this creature enters, it endures 1. Okay, we went from the most busted card in the set to actually a pretty good common. It's actually a really good common, but it feels underwhelming just because we had that card earlier. This card is really good, I think. Like all these 2 drops that create another body. So it's also a 2 mana 2/3 common, which is a playable card on itself if you just want to go for the stats. But I think most of the times you're gonna make a 1/1. And then the 1/2 blocks the mobilized creatures. So this is the card you really want with this sort of effect. So you permanently get counters on things. Because the 1/1 doesn't disappear. This is a C+, B- card. Probably C+. Colorless white 3/1. Whenever a creature you control dies while this card is in your graveyard, you may pay colorless and a white. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Wait, this works with mobilize. That's actually sick. You're gonna be getting this back. 2 mana 3/1, a little bit worse in this set, blocking wise, because it doesn't block the mobilize tokens for free. But then again, the 1/1s won't be staying on the battlefield, so it does attack pretty well. Bat versus the spirits, maybe versus endure. But still, I mean, it comes back. I will say C+ still, because, you know, power creep and all. Like, this working on blocks is actually so good. Because often these cards don't have the ability to block. But when you think about it, a 3/1 is not it's not as good of an attacker as it is a blocker, because it up trades. It can trade for a 3-drop. On attacks, it will always down trade. Colorless white instant. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature against flying and indestructible until end of turn. Counter is huge. Sometimes it won't grow big enough to kill something, but it's also a protection spell. Still a combat trick. Usually I'm going like bad combat tricks are D's or D-. Good combat tricks are sometimes D+. The really good ones are like C, but those are really rare. So I would say this is like a D to D+ still. But D+ for a trick is really high. So do we want to rate this really high? Well, maximum overdrive at the end was a C-, I think. While we rated it pretty low. But that was also specific because you really needed to kill Ketradons. We first need to see a Ketradon. Basically, how you were building decks in either drift, where you were building them with green creatures in mind. Well, I don't think that will be exactly the case in this set. Plus, like, this doesn't even kill something like that, right? It doesn't grant Death Touch. Loxodon Battle Priest, 4 colorless white, 3/5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on another target creature you control. Okay, this comes with a, what's the card? Innkeeper's Talent. So basically, it's a creature with Innkeeper's Talent. Obviously, 5 mana. But this ability looks pretty good to me. This unchecked is pretty crazy. If it dies, it will leave a counter, right? You will time it, so you get a counter. Limited is a lot about creature matchups. And you want like your irrelevant creature to become relevant. And even if it's only 1 counter, it can mean a difference between your small creature matching one of their creatures, while it would otherwise be irrelevant. That's a huge thing, right? It literally generates like a card of a value if your other creature is now capable of trading. Because otherwise it wouldn't be worth a card. It wouldn't trade. Does that make sense? I think people don't think about creature matchups enough in Limited. And this does a good job of making those matchups better. I like this. I think this is actually, I'll rate this a B. B-, B. B-. I'll just rate it a B. I think this is gonna be good. Like, it cannot be that bad if the upside is an Innkeeper's Talent. Okay, so we have a single white for a 1/2 human Scotty. Human Scout. When this creature enters, cry 2, 1 colorless, add red, white, black, activate only once each turn. So there's a lot to like. There's a lot to also a lot to dislike. First of all, it doesn't add plus a mana, so it's not a mana dork. But that would be busted if this added one. If this added plus a mana. So okay, scrying is good, obviously, but a 1 mana 1/2 is not a real card. Like a 1 mana 1/2 needs something else. So it needs either a pump so you're capable of trading it for something, or I guess you would profit from just going wider, so something that counts creatures would matter. And there's some stuff for that in this format. Blocks mobilize tokens. Okay, that's a good point. So I like it and I also dislike it. I think it's gonna be kind of overrated in general, but it's definitely playable. I would say this is just a D. I don't think you're too happy playing. And you're probably gonna play one off. 2 of these seem too much, unless a specific deck. Colorless white, as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may behold a dragon. So beholding a dragon means you can either reveal a dragon or have it in play. Deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. If a dragon was behold, you gain 2 life. Okay, I mean, already serviceable, right? 2 mana for, well, 5 damage on attacking or blocking, but pretty good. Pretty good. I think I would rate this similar to whatever card we had earlier, because in most decks will have a similar role than this. While this can push more damage through, while the other one is less conditional, maybe even doesn't require a big board. So C, I guess. 2 colorless white, 2/3. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Scry 1. So Flurry is the Jeskai mechanic. Oh yeah, true. Okay, good point. Let's go back. This is something to talk about, which I missed. It's kind of really awkward versus mobilize, isn't it? Another like L for this card. Still, again, like 5 damage and potential 2 life is not nothing. So still does the job. Wait, whenever you cast your second spell, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Scry 1. Okay, this is kinda... I like it. But it's bad. It's not great on 3. But then if you are able... Okay, it's insane on 3 if you're able to double spell, because then you get a 3/4 with a scry. 3/4 at turn 4 attacking already is really hard to block. It's also really hard to attack into. The floor is you don't double spell, and then it's Garbo. That's the awkwardness. If it was a... I don't know what stat it needed to have, but it would be probably too good as a 3/3. I cannot give it higher than a C, even though I'd like to. And in some decks, it's gonna be really good. It's probably realistically actually a D+ card, because there's some decks that would never want to play that. Yeah, these cards are also like, they need a huge upside. Although Scry is a decent upside, plus the counter. Yeah, D+. I just want to like it. I want to like it so bad. I'll be realistic. Rally the Monastery. 3 colorless white. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you have cast another spell this turn. Create 2 1/1s or up to 2 target creature you control each get +2/+2. Or destroy target creature power 4 or greater. This has to be good. It's just flexible. Yeah, prowess. Oh, it does give you prowess creature. I missed that. Okay. I didn't expect prowess on a white card. Okay. So I just completely ignored that. Yeah, 2 1/1s with prowess is a completely different story. We had that in like a core set, although obviously power creep happened. Probably 2 power creeps already happened. While this card was in red, just the first ability was in red in some core set. C+, B-, is that too high? It might be even too low. It might be a B card. Like, this is so flexible. And it's often gonna be 2 mana. I would say it's a B card. Is that crazy? This guild wants to do this. I think this guild just wants to have this, like, you're gonna double spell. This allows you to double spell better. You would just go B+. I'm also, by the way, I'm a Jeskai player, if you haven't noticed. I'm gonna pick Jeskai at the pre-release. I just love spells decks. I'm an author guy. It's me, it's the author guy. So I'm biased. So I can't hold back. It's a red-blue card, but printed in white because Jeskai happened along the way. Rebellious Strike, 1 colorless white. Target creature gets +3/+0 until end of turn, draw a card. We've seen that in black in Wilds of Eldraine, but the card wasn't that great. But then again, we're talking about a spell matter team, a double spell team, prowess, which is a spell team. So has to be better, has to be way better here. Even though we have a comparison in a recent set. But I would say this fulfills a role, while Sugar Rush didn't really fulfill any roles in that set. It was just there as a random card. I still wouldn't go too high on this. I would say a D+. First of all, you don't want to play this in Abzan probably. Funny is, it's actually quite relevant with mobilized tokens because they're gonna think the block is free, right? And then you're killing something with +3, so it's not completely useless there. I do like it. I do like it. How do you pronounce that? Ryling? Ryling? Because in Slovene you would say Rilink, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't even know what Ryling means. Downbreaker, 4 colorless, white, 3/4. Flying Vigi, a dragon. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And then the sorcery Omen. Create a 2/2 white soldier creature token. Okay, so what an Omen means is you get to choose the Omen part, but then you shuffle it back. So it's not like an adventure card. If this was adventure, it would be stupid. 2/2 for 2. Well, bears are not that great anymore, but yeah. I think this one is one of the better ones though, because it's easy to miss how flexible cards like that are, because they fulfill a role on curve on 2 parts. On 2 parts, they are good, right? Good. I don't think this is a good 2-drop, but if you don't have a 2-drop, it's a serviceable 2-drop, but it's also like a top-end card. So it basically makes it, your hand plays out better by just having one of those in the hand. Because you're unlikely drawing a perfect hand, and this gets you closer to a perfect curve. And that is what's easy to miss, I think, because both parts are... I think the 5 mana part is actually pretty good compared to other dragons, because I've seen other dragons. Other common of these. So I think this is one of the better ones, even though technically I'm spoiling out now the other colors. But yeah. But I think this one is good. I think this one is like a C+ card. I want to rate this really high. I think it's the best out of the common cycle of these. Also, like, historically, the ability of pumping another creature, again, creature matchups, you make something relevant on attacks that would necessarily not be relevant anymore. Yeah, this is another good point with Omens. The decking will not be as obvious, because there's probably going to be some games where it comes down to decking, right? That happens in any format. But now you cannot rely on just the sheer card number. You have to take into account that they could have Omens. Which means they get plus a card if they have that. Or they keep on recycling it, right? They keep on omening it. So like decking is not a real plan in this format. Or not as of a real plan. Sage of the Skies, 2 colorless, white, 2/3. Whenever you cast the spell, if you cast another spell this turn, copy the spell. Flying Lifelink. Well, first of all, I'm completely fine playing a 3-mana 2/3 Flying Lifelinker. That used to be, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago. Those were like bomb uncommons. This is obviously a rare, but you can get 2. You can get 2. This is a win card, yeah. It's a Vampire Nighthawk, but it's 2 Vampire Nighthawks. So in a perfect world, you would want a 1-mana cantrip on 4. A 1-mana card on 4 and play this and make your own, build your own Baneslayer army. I would say B+, because the floor is still just a single 3-mana 2/3 Flying Lifelinker, which is still a card. Maybe even A-, but it kind of grants a lot of stats, but then again, it also gets blocked by a single dragon, so you still need to kill the dragon and all. Single peep is important. Yeah, easier to double spell. Way easier in a 3-color format. I'm going B+. Super solid, super good. 5 colorless white, 4/3. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control. When this creature enters, draw a card. First of all, whenever a creature that draws a card is capable of trading for something big, which this sorta is, that's get way, way better, right? There's some downside for playing a 2-mana 1/1 that draws a card. I mean, there's way higher upside to this than like a 2-mana 1/1 cat that draws. And this is gonna be relatively cheap. You can go 2-drop that mobilizes. That would be 2 creatures on 3. Is there a 2-drop that mobilizes for 2 in this set? You drop this on turn 3 and draw a card. A 4/3 on turn 3, draw a card. Insane. I think there is one, but it might be a rare. Anyhow, I mean, even late you're double spelling with this and drawing a card. This is at least a C+ for me, but maybe I'm overrating it. I would start with C+, but could see this being like an actual B. It reads really good to me. And right now this looks like the best white common from what we've seen. There's more to be seen though. I'll go B-. I even want to say B, but I'll go B- for now. Smile at that. 3 colorless white enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter on each of those creatures. Interesting card. Because you can keep on doing that. I don't know how to rate this. I would say it's easy to overrate it because the upside is really high. Yeah, that's nothing on the... That's already like a big L that it doesn't do nothing for a 5-mana card on the turn you play it. But it generates like infinite value technically. You just need to be good at blocking everything they're doing. I honestly don't know. I would say it's realistically like a C+ card, but the upside is so high. There's also enchantment kill spell. Imagine this getting blown out by maneuver, and people gonna play that card. I don't think I like it that much, honestly, the more I think about it. This looks like one of those, like, what was the card that made like Angels when it died, which was kinda garbo, but everybody liked it. But then it never performed that well. But when it was good, it was insane. Like, this one will be insane in games where it's gonna be insane. Yeah, Walkyrie's Call. And this seems worse than Walkyrie's Call. Because you're still losing to flyers if you don't have flyers. With Walkyrie's Call, you at least could somehow, I don't know, lose your creatures, which also, I don't know. Wasn't like often that great versus flyers either. So I that's why it's hard to rate it, because I think you put this in a deck where you get the creatures back still. Because like if you have your whole deck full of cheap creatures and then you get 2 back each, you can structure your whole game around it if you have it in hand. Trade more aggressively and then get them back. It's just that the floor makes me want to hesitate building around it, which would be like it's expensive and it does nothing at the turn it comes down. And there are even commons that kill enchantments randomly. I'll go C+ and leave it at that for now, with realizing the context and the power of this. 2 colorless white 1/3 flying. Whenever this creature attacks, another target creature you control gains flying until end of the turns. Attacking tokens you control have flying. Okay, this second line is huge. Well, it's already a card that existed before, and it was usually good, so the Pegasus type of card. I'm still not a big fan of Mobilize. I think Mobilize is extremely overrated. But that said, this makes it way, way better. Because Mobilize transfers into so many bad outcomes. You don't want to attack whenever they have a good block on the creature that's mobilizing, right? You don't really profit that much from attacking whenever they can block the tokens for free. So it feels like one of those is gonna happen. Yeah, you want to build mobilized decks in a certain way. But it also feels like you don't have that much room to maneuver with mobilized decks as you had like maybe with go wide decks in the past in other sets where tokens actually stayed. Like, you don't have the waiting game with mobilize. But yeah, like this is gonna be important, so it has to be good, right? You need cards like that to make the mobilize better. So I would say B- for now. Okay, so Static Snare is a 4 colorless white enchantment. I swear Static Snare are like 5 different cards that have the same name but different abilities. But yeah, okay, there's something there. I guess there's a slight difference in the name. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature. When this enchantment enters, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. So really good removal. Mardu O-Ring, yeah. Can be really cheap. Can be 1 mana. That's huge. Leyline Binding, yeah. This is a solid B. A solid B. Yeah. I think B is just like any efficient 1-for-1 removal. Not any efficient, but like the best removal in the set. And this one exiles. And it can be really cheap. So I like B as a starting point for first pickable removal in the set. First pickable 1-for-1 removal. Stormbeacon Blade. 1 colorless white. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 whenever equipped creature attacks. Draw a card if you control 3 or more attacking creatures. Well, I like drawing cards. Equip 2. Okay, so imagine stacking triggers wrong. This draws from your mobilize. That's how it's worded. At least that's how I understand it. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. I think you can because it checks, right? If you control 3 or more creatures. So the ability still goes on stack, no matter what. Then you resolve the tokens first, and then it checks, and then you draw. I mean, otherwise this card wouldn't make any sense. It would also be a terrible card. But pretty good, because often you will get a card off of a single mobilize too. But there's obviously a floor, which is a bad equipment. So is this gonna be that great? It's probably gonna be okay. I don't think this is gonna be too insane. +3 is an interesting pump. Okay, there's some good cards with it. This gets way better now. Let's go back up here. Stuff. This gets like kinda insane with that. Like just make a 5 power first striker. Yeah, on the 0-4 it's also good. But on this card specifically, and this is being a common, I think this makes it so freaking potent. It's crazy. Equip 2 is not that bad if it buffs any toughness, but this one doesn't. But again, on the first striker, it's like kind of buffing toughness. Hard to rate this. Like we haven't... expensive equipments are not... Like even if they have a really huge upside, they're recently not great. They were historically good though. But in recent sets, like equipment that require some kind of a relevant mana cost to equip are actually, even if they have high upside, are not really that good. So I think it's realistically not that good of a card, even in a deck that it supports it. So I think I'll go D+, C-, D+. I will publish a tier list, but I need to rewrite it, so I'll write it on the day of the early access. So for the early access, the tier list will be already available. So that's Wednesday. 2 colorless white for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Oblivion Ring at common again. Well, these are just B cards, right? These are just your normie B cards. Back in the days, Oblivion Ring was even better than a B card, but now we're seeing that at common, because there is some downside of this dying and they get them getting the creature back. And there are some cards that accidentally kill enchantments, which I think we're going to see in green more. Sunpearl Kirin. 1 colorless white, 2/1 flash flying. When this creature enters, return up to 1 other target non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. If it was a token, draw a card. Love it. What's not to like? I mean, it's 2 mana, 2/1 flying, flasher. There's no downside. You don't need to do it. You can draw a card from your mobilized stuff. You can save your creatures. No, this is way better than Pixie, because Pixie actually didn't like save your creatures, right? For limited context, and obviously in Constructed it's different. 1 mana versus 2 mana is huge. Oh, you're talking about that deck, yeah. If you want to play this in Constructed, you can. In Limited, this is way better than the Pixie. Because it's an actually relevant stat, first of all. A 1 mana, 1 flyer is way worse than a 2 mana, 2/1 flyer. But then again, this saves your stuff. It has flash. I think this is a B plus card. I like this too much. You can attack with your mobilize. Like you can even push the damage through and save your mobilize card to not get killed on the blocks. But I think the biggest blowout is still save your creature from removal. Teeming Dragonstorm. Timmy Dragonstorm. 3 colorless white enchantments. Enchantment when this enchantment enters, create 2/2 white soldier creature tokens. When a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. I mean, that's the reason to play all the dragons. Doesn't have a big floor because 4 mana for 2 tokens is not that bad. It is not bad at all. And we're talking real value. Like, it's not just tempo inefficient value. It's like both. Like, if you have a dragon, you play this again, you get more creatures, which translates into both tempo and value, I guess, in some sense. Yeah, this card reads really well. Build around B+, probably you can even play it with few dragons. You can even play it without dragons. Like, you would want to go white in both Abzan and Mardu. I'll just give this a B+. I think it's too... obviously, funny is, some people will try to push this too hard and put too many expensive cards in the deck, and then their deck will be bad. So in that sense, it has a downside, but that's a skill issue. So we cannot rate this as a downside. Some dragons are really overcosted, so you cannot play too many, but some are flexible and have omen stuff on it, so yeah. Like up the Beanstalk. I know this is where I think Beanstalk had a way... Okay, you mean the deck building wise in Limited. Yeah, Beanstalk decks were sometimes bad because people builded them wrong, right? Beanstalk didn't need a lot of expensive cards in Limited. Because it already, like, if it triggered once, it was already good or twice. But I think this doesn't have a real downside because you're kind of fine playing 4 mana, make 2/2s already. So you shouldn't overthink this card. But when it has an upside, it has an insane upside. Hopefully I just answered it. I don't think you only want to play the dragons that would already be good, and then maybe you can add an additional one, but you don't want to say like, okay, I'm picking this now. Now I want every card to be a dragon in my deck. That's gonna just result into your deck having like too many expensive cards. Even few dragons, this is really good. We're forcing dragons, and Jeskai. No, I'm just joking. And this pairs really well with the white dragon, the white common dragon, because the white dragon has a 2-drop attached to it, right? So it's flexible in that sense. Then it shuffles, and then there's more dragons in your deck, and you're gonna draw them late game, where this will matter. No, the dragon part was a joke. We're not forcing dragon, but the Jeskai part was not a joke. I'm always gonna gravitate towards spell decks if they're gonna exist. Okay, 2 colorless white for a 2/2 bird. So a Windrake, flying. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may search your library for a card named Tempest Hawk, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. A deck can have any number of cards named Tempest Hawk. This does few things really bad. First of all, a 3 mana 2/2 is really bad, even if it flies. It does attack well, generates value, but then again, if you're down statting all of your creatures, you want to be blocking, and this doesn't do anything when it's blocking. No, I don't think it's really an F, but I think it's generally gonna be a bad card even if you have multiples in the deck. It would be completely different if it triggered on ETB. Like if it triggered on ETB, this was actually a sick card. So yeah, I don't like this. I think this is like a D card. I would say it's still a D. I would still put it at a D, not a D minus, because flyers and having more flyers. Imagine then opponent playing a 2/3 flyer, and you have a deck full of these. You have 17 of these, and opponent plays a 2/3 flyer. The game is over. It is done, so. Okay, so 3 colorless white. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 2 non-creature, non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from among them on the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom. No. It's a no. It's a no limited card. You're not gonna have the density of hits or of enough hits to hit 2 in any limited deck in this format. I refuse to believe it. Non-creature, non-land permanent. It doesn't even count instants. In constructed, yeah, different story. To consistently hit, you would need 15. But even that wouldn't be that consistent. How are you gonna build a non-creature, non-land permanent card type of deck with 15 hits in limited? Yeah, it doesn't even hit those cards, like the expensive non-creature cards you wanna play. This is like SF as it can get in limited. No, winning announcement is not good enough for constructed. You want to win immediately when you cast this in constructed, so you need a combo deck. But I think it's gonna be a good constructed card. Like there's gonna be decks for it. Like the first thing I can imagine is this 9 lives and with the other part, whatever the other card is. You just get both pieces, win on spot, GG. Voice of Victory, colorless white for a 1/3 mobilize 2. Your opponent can't cast spell during your turn. Well, this is the mobilize 2, so you go this on 2, attack on 3, and play a 4/3 that draws a card immediately. I don't know where it is, but you get the idea. It's a rare though, the 1/3. Pretty good. I mean, you would play this card always, right? In a mobilized deck. It still gets stopped by a single 3/2 from not attacking. that's so devastating with this the mobilized cards. That a single blocker, if you don't have a trick, completely stops it still. But yeah, it does a decent job at enabling all your combos and opponent not having any interaction. But yeah, good. Like this is what a B card probably. 3 colorless white for a 3/4. When this creature enters, return target non-land permanent card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Flurry, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, tap target creature an opponent controls. That's like a mini Gravedigger. A big Gravedigger, but a mini ability. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. You kind of need to build your decks. Well, you just need a normie limited deck where you have 2 drops. I think this is good, right? The second ability would be pretty bad on a body like this, but once you combine both, like you're playing it for the first ability, that one is easy to pull off. C+? Do we go higher? I don't think we go higher than C+, because it's interesting. Decks that want to have Flurry don't want to have expensive cards, and 4 mana is already an expensive card. But I guess, yeah, it's okay. I'll go C+. Okay, that's white. What's the best white common? I still like, I know there's the ring, but I think I still like the packbeast. Okay, I'll be right back. I need a little bit of a 1-minute break. Get something to drink. I'm talking too much. But that's unavoidable when doing a set review.